Cabinet has approved the recommendation to revoke all state lands that did not undergo a process of auditing during a review conducted by a committee set up by the Mahama-led administration to ensure value for money in state land transactions. Speaking during a visit, the Vice President, Professor Nana Poku-Agyemang, spoke at the Lands Ministry. The Sector Minister, Emmanuel Amakofiboa, warned that the ministry will strictly implement Cabinet's directive. He says once the process is completed, public officials will no longer attempt to unlawfully acquire state lands, as the names of those involved will be published.
I gave the story that my own house that I lived in for 6 years, I didn't have title. The day it was announced that I was nominated as Lands Minister, I got a message that my documents, they are working on it fast for me. And it's true story. It's true story. Frankly, it is clear that the systems, land administration, providing basic services for the people of Ghana must change. And so we began that journey first to look at what is really the problem at the Lands Commission. What has been the challenge at the Lands Commission? And these are the challenges that were described. And the process of reviewing. One of the things we all heard about was that public lands that government had taken for specific purposes that now belong to government, some of them for agricultural purposes, some of them for different purposes were not used, now becomes government property. And somehow the people who have been given the charge to protect these lands were somehow abusing it. And so His Excellency the President vowed to make sure that we get it right. And I'm happy to tell you that we constituted a team led by my able deputy, and we got cabinet approval to address that in the long term. That it will, by the time we finish, no government official will even cross their mind to take public land. Because we'll publish your name in every newspaper. By the way, the cabinet has approved our recommendation that all public lands that had been sold are going under review to make sure there's value for money, and process audit was done. Those that didn't finish the process are automatically cancelled. And so we are going on to make sure that we implement to the letter the cabinet recommendation to give confidence to the people of Ghana that we are going to protect public lands.
Well, it says Ghana is set to receive $20 million in carbon payments this year following efforts to reduce emissions under climate-related initiatives. In addition, he says Ghana will sign a $30 million support agreement for climate initiatives within the year. According to the minister, these developments show that the international community is taking notice of Ghana's climate actions.
To deal with that, we are also focusing on ecotourism development and promotion, and we are working in walkways, eco-lazing, and bird watching centers. We are also working in other forest areas like the Shahiri resource and the Kakum and the Mole National Park to increase investment to promote ecotourism. We think that we should get to that point where Ghanaians are excited about traveling our country, visiting these forest reserves. There's huge potential there. So we are working with the Forestry Commission. We are also working on climate change mitigation and adoption, and the world is noticing. I've participated in major conferences last year. I was in Egypt recently on an environmental conference by the UN, and we basically laid out Ghana's view on how we are working on the climate change mitigation measure and sustainability. And the world is hearing it. This year we are getting 20 million on emission reduction payment. And then we are also again going to sign a $30 million US support on climate initiative this year. What it means is that the world is taking notice of the effort we are making.
From the Vice President, Professor Nana Poku-Agyemang, who lauded the Lands Minister for efforts made so far.
I was going to make a plea that when we talk about the land banks, we remember the women. There are many women who want to farm but who, for all kinds of reasons, don't even have access to land. So if we can reserve some of these land banks for them, they can also contribute their own capabilities to the economy. Thank you very much. So again, I just want to sum up by acknowledging the inputs you've made. You know, decentralizing is very important. Decentralization is not just a joke. That is what solves problems at the basic level, where the life begins. So yes, living in Accra is important, but that's not all there is. So sending the services to where the majority of us live is very, very important. So I want to commend that. That very, very important intervention. Very, very important. And so, again, we want you to know that we'll support your initiatives from wherever we are. We will support you because we know you will succeed. So let me close by thanking you again for your presentation, for your efforts, for 1 year you said. Isn't it interesting that we found ourselves here? Yes. So it's happy birthday in a certain way. That we've come just 1 year. We wish you well. And your team too. Is it 16 agencies or so? Yes. Everybody is part of it. We respect your input and we encourage you. You as the heads, your support staff, everyone. We want to thank them for what they've done so far, and we want to commend them to do even more. So, Happy New Year to everyone, and thanks.